The Detroit Lions just got interesting offensive coordinator news. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron with my buddies. We are the NFC North Guys on the daily NFC North content. So ladies and gentlemen, don't miss out. All you got to do, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and hey, hit the like button. We still get to watch some football for a couple more weeks. Enjoy it. And sure enough, soon enough, before you know it, 2026 season's going to be here. And the Lions are going to be back. So hit that like button. Today, what we got to jump into is the offensive coordinator position. And as I said, some interesting news developing. Mike McDaniel and rumors with the Raiders head coach opening, among other offensive coordinator openings as well. What we're going to do in this episode, we're going to really break down each and every opening and weigh, obviously, the pros and cons of each. And again, in my mind, why it would be in Mike McDonald's best interests to take the Lions position. So first and foremost, let's jump into the Raiders position. And let's say this. Pete Carroll literally was there for a year. The man won a Super Bowl, almost won two with the Seattle Seahawks, goes down to the Raiders, drafts Ashton Jeanty, believes in Geno Smith, brings him down as well. And the team literally goes downhill quick. The organization looks at him, says, nope, you're out of here. See you later. So Mike McDaniel getting the interview, going in, okay, I understand he has the ambition to be a head coach, obviously. He showed a ton of promise for the Dolphins. Things went downhill with him for Tua Tagovailoa, among other things. Obviously, the emergence of the Patriots again, the Bills in that division as well. It makes it difficult in the AFC East. But we jump over to the Raiders, and let's be real. Let's jump into that team real quick. One, a team that not even just Pete Carroll, but multiple other coaches, they've literally given a little time and been like, all right, peace, see you later. Is that what you want? No. Let's be real. You want a situation you can go into with a ton of potential. And you might say, well, Aaron, give me a head coaching position that has that. I would tell you the New York Football Giants. Again, Jackson Dart, Cam Scadaboo, if he's not going to get a concussion every other game. Malik Neighbors as well, a ton of young talent on the defensive side of the ball. A lot of promise there. So, John Harbaugh is going to absolutely take the bait. Hopefully they get a deal done and take that position. But there are possibilities. You get the right people in place, you can make magic happen. And the question becomes for Mike McDaniel, is a position with the Las Vegas Raiders, I believe I said Oakland Raiders first. I don't know. I can't remember. But is that a position you want to take as your second stint as a head coach? And I will say this, the thing that is tempting is the fact that you get the first overall pick. And chances are you need a quarterback. It's not going to be Geno. And you're going to take Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman winner. And if you've watched any college football, he's a ton of fun to watch. He's a very quirky, lovable guy. But the question becomes for Mike McDaniel, if he were to take this job as the head coach, if he was offered it, are you going to be able to lead Fernando Mendoza, Ashton Jeanty, Brock Bowers, and company? Besides that, it's kind of offensively kind of a depleted team. Are you going to be able to take this team in a division where you have the Broncos, who have, as of the past couple of years, been very dominant, made the playoffs the past 2 years. And then as well, the Chiefs, who have a chip on their shoulder that they want to prove they're going to make a comeback. And the Chargers, who also were in the playoffs this year and the year before under Jim Harbaugh. Is that division, is that the team you're going to want to go to? Again, it's all situational. What do you want to do? Again, you look at the stats from the past year for the Raiders, you look at the depth chart, and again, Ashton Jeanty, he's not Achane from Miami. A little different style of play. Do you think you can be successful with him? Do you think you can be successful with, these other weapons on this team? Maybe. Comment below. What do you think? But again, I don't think it's a job that is incredibly desirable when you can, as Mike McDaniel has said, he would take a for lack of a better term, sexier offensive coordinator position for a good team as opposed to a bad head coaching position with a franchise that you're like, I'm not sure about. And I would tell you the Raiders, I think a lot of people are not sure about. So sure, he might be getting an interview, but when it comes down to it, I don't think it's a done deal. I don't think he's guaranteed to take it, but it is interesting. I'm going to give you that. On top of that, you have other positions, other possibilities where you look at other teams that are interested in Mike McDaniel. You have the Eagles, you have the Buccaneers. Obviously, of course, the Lions have already interviewed him, and we're going to talk about that more in a minute as well. But we look at those teams, and I think the big question is this. When you look at those teams, what team do you feel like, based on the offense he runs, he would feel most comfortable in? I would tell you, and again, you're going to say, well, Aaron, duh, you idiot. You are a Lions fan. Sure. But again, look at his style of coaching and calling plays compared to, let's say, the Lions. You have Gibbs, who in a way is very similar in play to Achane. You have multiple wide receivers that are incredibly speedy, versatile, can take the top off the defense. And J-Mo put up more stats than the Eagles' number one receiver, and J-Mo's not even the number one receiver for the Detroit Lions. And again, let's bring into question the head coach you're going to be underneath. And honestly, I'm kind of kick the Buccaneers out of this. But between the Lions and the Eagles, you look at the Lions, Dan Campbell, a guy who you talk to really anyone, and they say, man, I would love to have him as a head coach. Love to have him. Nick Sirianni, I don't think I've heard anyone say a good word about Nick Sirianni. Who do you want to be your boss? Again, you have a good boss, it makes things a heck of a lot easier for you. Let's be real. And so you look at personnel, and I think the Lions fit what Mike McDaniel wants more than these other teams. As well as the Raiders, yes, it's a head coaching job. You're the captain of the ship. But again, it's the Raiders. And I think I said Oakland Raiders again. The Las Vegas Raiders. There we go. Sorry, I should start doing push-ups every time I do that. But again, a franchise that time after time has given up on coaches quick. Time after time have just been absolute duds. And really, you're, in a way, in multiple areas, you're building from rock bottom. So, what is it? What is it? Again, also, too, you have the Ravens. I would tell you the Ravens is incredibly interesting. Of all the opening jobs left, I would tell you the Baltimore Ravens would be the head coaching job you want. Again, I think it's pretty insane that they let go of John Harbaugh. A lot of people say, oh, they're stagnant, whatever it might be. Sure, but it's wild. It's pretty crazy. He immediately gets scooped up by the Giants. You better believe that he wants to prove everyone wrong in New York, so we'll see. But I think there is still a good chance the Lions land Mike McDaniel. I really do. So comment below. Tell me what you think. I would love to hear from you. There's a random picture, too, I want to show you. I think this is pretty cool. Lions fan catches coach Mike McDaniel landing at Detroit Metro Airport, Detroit Sports Daily. I don't know this guy, but it's pretty awesome. Go follow him. But pretty crazy that he ran into him. And it would be entertaining with him and Dan Campbell on the sideline. So comment below. As well, we just look at some other offensive coordinators. I'll tell you this. Arthur Smith, nah. Hard pass. Hard pass. Don't really want to entertain that. Zach Robinson, I actually don't mind. Sorry about that. I don't mind interviewing him. Again, you look at that team and with the Atlanta Falcons, in quarterback-wise, they struggled because it was like Penix is hurt, throwing Kirk Cousins, back and forth, yada, yada, yada. Bijan Robinson was very successful in that offense, and I truly believe Gibbs could be as well. So it is interesting, something to consider. Mike Kafka, I don't mind Mike Kafka if you know him from Northwestern back in the day. That is a very interesting one. He was the interim head coach, offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. Incredibly interesting. So again, if it isn't Mike McDaniel, I think there's other appeasing options as well. T. Martin, if you know T. Martin back in the day with the Tennessee Vols, he was the offensive coordinator with them. And then obviously for the Baltimore Ravens, he was the quarterback's coach. So that's a very interesting one as well. But again, I think I would lean more towards, a Robinson, a McDaniel. But again, I'm not opposed to a T. Martin. That's the thing. If this organization goes in and says, man, this is the guy, this is who we want to go after, again, I'm going to get behind that. I think in general, the one thing I no one wants to see is another Morton situation where it's like, okay, come, what was it? It has it at the bottom of here. Come November 9th, Dan Campbell takes over the play calling duties. And when it comes down to it, when it's all when we get down to the nitty gritty of it, the biggest thing is too, besides offensive coordinator, they just got to get an O-line. They need to get an offensive line. They need to shore up some of those areas, especially in the interior. You know what's going to happen with Decker. So that would be a huge net benefit. We talked about that in a couple videos back. But what do you think? Comment below. Offensive coordinator, who's it going to be? And then who's winning tonight? Not tonight. Well, actually, yeah, tonight, 49ers, Seahawks, Buffalo, Denver plays today. And then tomorrow, who do you got? Patriots, Texans, Rams, Bears. You going Rams? You cheering for Matt Stafford? Comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you here. We'll talk later. Peace.